Community Land Scotland represents Scotland's new generation of community landowners who are managing some 560,000 acres of land. Their vision is for more communities to reap the benefit of community land ownership. Their work to influence public policies that help communities acquire land and properties has taken effect in recent years.
That rural communities have bought out land over the past 20-25 years, but since 2016 communities in towns and cities have had the same legislative rights and access to funding that rural communities have had. So we've seen a growth in the number of urban communities that are buying land and buildings to regenerate their area. And as Community Land Scotland, one of the things we do is bring people together so they can share all their ideas and inspiration, and that's what we're doing today. It's the second time we brought together some of the new community landowners to share what they've been doing with each other.
That's TV recently spoke with the Scottish Land Commission, who themselves advocated land reform in order to create a more socially just Scotland. Recent studies suggest that half of the country's privately owned land is held by just 432 owners, and a mere 16 owners hold 10% of Scotland. And examples such as Bridgend Farmhouse in Craigmillar support the notion that land can be harnessed for the benefit of local communities instead.
It was an old farmhouse for the last 230 or so years, and in 2000 the ownership transferred to the council, and after that point the building has slowly started to become derelict, and there was fire damage, and the building was starting to collapse in some ways. So 10 years ago we started a campaign. It was part of a community project to take ownership of the land in the old farmhouse and renovate it to become a community hub. So over that period of time we've slowly developed through community engagement and various programs to engage in a much wider, diverse audience and group of people from communities Craigmillar, Nidgy, Inch, Morden, and together we've worked really hard on creating this community around the site and campaigning to take ownership of the building. And now we've raised the funds and we've renovated this old farmhouse into a thriving hub. So we now have a community cafe, bike workshop, a wood workshop, an arts workshop. We're building a bothy at the moment using sustainable building materials and techniques. We have an event space and we run a whole series of different programs. So the community now own the land together through our share issue. Over 400 people collectively own and decide what to do with it.
Bridgend was established prior to this new legislation, but how much easier is it for communities to acquire land today?
There is quite a complicated process to buy land and buildings. It does take a lot of work, but most communities are happy to go through that process because owning land or buildings can bring such rewards to the community. And just the process of going through that and learning together about how to buy land or buildings is something that often brings communities together and makes them think about what they would like for the future of the whole community.
So when we started and expressed our interest in 2010, and it took till the end of 2016 before we were able to work with the big lottery, who are our main funders, and with the council to take ownership of the building, plus our other funders. So now we're seeing groups that are able to take that journey in a much shorter time, maybe 2 years. So that maybe gives you a sense of the difference in time and energy that it took before to get to that point.
When communities purchase the land on which their people live and work, they are free to invigorate their area and improve the prospects of future generations. One recent example is Action Porty, which has transformed the former Portobello Old Parish Church into a new community hub. The Scottish Land Fund covered 94% of the purchase price just over 1 year ago.
We had a few people on our board who knew about these things. We had a good, energised steering group at that point that became the board. So yeah, we've had the joy of buying our building. We could be called a success story. It's still hard work. There's lots to do. You've got to keep it viable. But yes, we're maybe one of the poster children at the moment. It always comes down to money. Yes, of course we want to expand it, but there's essential repairs, there's immediate work, there's priorities that must be addressed. But yes, we started out with a vision from Urban Animation, who gave us a business case at the beginning, and that had an investment programme over 5 years of 3.4 million. Safe to say it's probably gone to 10 years and we don't quite know where that money is going to come from, but the vision is still there and we're building it. Yeah, we've got lots we want to do.
Community land purchase is said to be the start of a long journey, often to reverse many years of decline, but the chance to enable the development of vital housing, build on a growing awareness of environment and heritage to enliven the social life of people and that of Scotland's spaces seems something worth building upon. Ian McNally, That's TV.